Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. As always, I am joined by my sensational, super. I really need to come up with some new terms. I should have a list next to me. Uh,
I feel like I talked about providing you one. I'm sorry, I have not yet.
my co-host who doesn't follow through on promises she makes, but I still love her, Kate Sitars. Hello, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And while Kate is fabulous, we also have the pleasure, even more importantly, of chatting today with Avalon Babinski, who is a CC student and a
Long
copywriter,
time.
long time, and a copywriter whose story we are excited to share with you. So, hello, Avalon.
Hello. Thank
Huh?
you so much for having me on. I'm very honored and I'm very excited to be here. So thank you.
Well, the honor and excitement is all ours, believe me. I think the best place to start is the place we kind of always start and going back to the beginning. What has your career been leading up to copywriting, and then how did you get into copywriting?
Okay, yeah. So my career started in the wine industry in Sonoma County, California. I graduated out of high school into like 2 years into the recession in like 2011. So I really just like moved back home and I really didn't know what to do. But I was like, well, I know a little bit about wine and I know a little bit about the area. So I might as well see what I can do, and I got a job in the wine industry and I stayed in the wine industry for like 10 years. So I had a really, really great time. I was working behind the bar and I was educating about wine. And then I moved into like different wineries and I was in tasting room and tasting room management and working with a little bit with the marketing department, but more on like a copy editing sort of way. They'd be like, "Hey, can I run something by you?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." I actually had no idea what the word copy was at all. And I didn't know anything about, the words that the marketing team was writing, like that was copy, and I had no idea. So, I actually found the course in 2020. By that time, I had already gotten married and moved to the Central Coast in California. And I was still in the wine industry, but we had our son in 2019. And then we decided to move from the Central Coast back up to Northern California so that we could be closer to family. He was about 6 months old at the time, so we could be closer to family, and there's wine up there and I could get a job again. And my husband, he's very versatile with what he does, so we said, yeah, let's do it. So we got up there and we signed our lease, and 2 weeks later the COVID like shut down everything, and I was in like five like processes to be like a tasting room manager at five different wineries. And within like the same week I got all the emails that said, "Hey, we don't know what's going on, but we're shutting down." And I was left with no like source of income, no way to work, nothing. And obviously that has never really happened to me before. So that really just threw me into this mindset of I never want that to happen again. And that coupled with also going back to work about 4 months after my son was born. So there was a very brief point in time where I was working after he was born before we moved, before the COVID shutdown, about 2.5 months. And I hated that. So it was already in my mind that I wanted to find something that could take me out of needing to be at a specific place for my job, needing to be more versatile, needing to be more remote. So all of those things were already going through my mind before the COVID shutdown happened. And then it just really highlighted all of those wants right when that was happening. So I think, but so sometime between March and like July of 2020. I remember where I was standing, but I don't remember when it was. But I told my husband, I want to be a professional paid writer. And I thought that meant like a novelist. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I want to be paid to write. And he was like, okay. And he didn't even know what I was saying because I didn't even know what I was saying, but I just had that like desire. And so I sat with it for a while and I just really started Googling how can I get paid to write? And honestly, I started seeing a lot of things about copywriting. And my sister actually sent me an ad of yours. I was just talking to my sister, telling her I think I want to do copywriting. And randomly one day she's like, hey, you should check them out. And I did. And I dove in and I was like, okay, I think this is the one I want to go with. And I remember I bought your course like for my birthday. So it was
Yeah.
somewhere in July of 2020 that I started the course. So there's the whole background in a nutshell of how I kind of found you and why I wanted to become a copywriter. So
That makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. So you dug in, you did the work. Was there anything because knowing nothing about copywriting as you got into it, was there anything that kind of surprised you, or was there anything that you were like, "Oh, I'm already been doing this"? I guess you kind of were.
well, I think like the sales aspect of it was really intriguing. I think that if you are naturally curious, copywriting is a good fit because I think like asking the right questions or even discovering what the questions are to ask, that was kind of exciting for me. I loved the psychology behind it. When I have my degree in anthropology, which doesn't translate into my life in any sort of way now. But what it means is that I like people and cultures and studying and learning about those sort of things. So that kind of really resonated with me with like what groups of people are attracted to what certain things. And so that part of it, and I guess that translates into the strategy part of, copywriting and marketing was really attractive to me because I just felt like that for myself was a good fit. So that was like surprising. It was surprisingly more deep than I had expected it to be. And I liked that.
That's good. That's good. It all
Yeah,
worked out
yeah.
nicely. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what were your next steps as you dug into the program, you did the work? How did you then start transitioning into to doing the work for clients?
Okay. So I did a lot of like the homework part of the work. So I sat down with like papers on my kitchen table, just spread out. And I was like writing over here. I was trying to write the copy, and I was over here and I was trying to understand. I think I printed out some of like the pages. So I really dug into like the learning and the practicing.
Mhm.
So I designed my first, I think it was the Cheetos ad. I am not going to show that. But I just like put the copy into a design so I could see like really kind of what you were talking about and how like design function works with copywriting and how you need to like make sure that the word length and everything is like going to work with the design and all of that. So I wanted to explore some of that without getting held back and just kind of push through those little hurdles to kind of keep going. And then I did my website, and I think I did it on Squarespace and I did it all myself. And I just pressed like publish, and I was like, we'll just figure it out later. And then I pitched to like a nonprofit website where a bunch of nonprofits are on there, and they don't pay you, but they hire you. You do the work and then you get to use it in your portfolio type of thing. So I did two of those projects. I did one for the San Antonio Symphony, and then I did one for like a neurodivergent coach in, I think, Ann Arbor, Michigan. I think it was a while ago. But I did two projects and I got really comfortable with my process and what I needed to do, the questions that I needed to glean from my clients so that I could be successful. The only thing I can kind of align it with that I might have had a little bit of practice was kind of trying to see what wine my client was liking and why, and then using that information to pull other wines that they might like that they could purchase. Like, so there was a lot of listening and a lot of understanding the person that's in front of you, that I took those skills and applied it to this new, completely new career. So I was just trying to do the best that I could with the background that I had and the knowledge that I had about myself and people in general, and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's
So
terrific.
yeah, so I did two projects, and I think they were kind of clunky, to be honest. Like, I was still trying to, work myself out. So I was really happy that I worked with some nonprofits. I also didn't have to worry about like my pricing or anything like that. So I think that that was also just kind of I didn't even have to go there. I just did the work, and I traded it for my experience and my portfolio piece. And that was really awesome because that gave me a little bit of a baseline of, in real life, how long this is going to take me, how much effort it's going to be, how much mental space I'm going to have to take up in my day in order to, wrap. I found myself like in the middle of my day, I'm thinking about copywriting, and in the shower I'm thinking about copywriting, and like I'm making my coffee or my tea and I'm thinking about copywriting. So in that aspect, I also decided, okay, well, there's a little bit of time spent on each client where you're not sitting down and you're not actually writing, but you have to work that into it as well. So even just giving myself the space and the time away from the nitty gritty of the details gave me experience in like how this new career and how this new life was going to play out. And that was really nice as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I'm familiar with a couple of organizations like that where they bring together nonprofits who generally cannot afford to pay for the marketing that they need. So
Right.
normally we would not strongly recommend against writing for free, but through an organization like that actually pairs you with nonprofits, you're right. It can be a good opportunity, something
Yes.
to
And
try out at the beginning.
I will second you on that because again, then there was a little bit of further in my career, a lot of companies wanting you to provide basically copywriting services for free under the guise of, this is part of your onboarding or interview process with us, and we want to see how well you do. And I did fall for it once, and I'll never do it again. I did a phenomenal job for a company that I was interviewing for, and they did not move me on to the next level. And I felt that I actually just heard you guys, and I'm like, God, why did why did I even do it?
Hey there, it's Nikki. I wanted to take a very quick minute to make sure that you knew about our free on-demand copywriting training. Now, whether you are brand new to copywriting or you've been doing it for a while, but you just can't seem to hit those income goals, this training is for you. You are going to learn the 3 secrets to landing freelance copywriting work without relying on frustrating job bidding sites like Upwork or Fiverr, or without cold calling strangers. And if you've watched any of the student success stories on this channel, and if you haven't yet, check them out. This is the exact same training that they all started with. And I mean students like Kate K, who is making 6 figures working part-time and retired her husband to help her build her business. Students like Stuart, who replaced his full-time salary, which was a good one, with his freelance income and then some. Stacy, who hit 6 figures in her first 6 months as a freelance copywriter, and Ashley, who landed the in-house copywriting job of her dreams. They all started with this free training, and you can start with this free training too. So sign up right now at freecopywritingtraining.com.
So yeah, I'll definitely second you there. If you can find something that you're aligned with in the form of a nonprofit, and it's fulfilling to do the work anyway, and it's something that you want to do, just give your time, that's one thing. But if you are trying to be hired and they would like you to provide them free labor, that is another thing.
Yeah, I think
and especially when you go in with the intention, like you knew you wanted, hey, I'm going to do this for my portfolio pieces. And like you were getting something
Correct.
benefit out of it. And it was like clear, this is the project. That's it. I think when people go in, oh, I'll do it for free and maybe they'll hire me. That's when it gets very, very that's just red flag all over that.
Yeah, you
Devaluing.
really have to
Yeah.
have boundaries
Yes.
around your peace and your self-worth in that way, and don't get distracted by like the shiny object. Like
Mhm.
if it's shiny, it's probably not that great.
Mhm.
Exactly. And, you know, I mean, you know that copy tests are certainly often a part of the hiring process, but it's definitely companies have really moved away from free copy tests. I think by and large, paid copy tests are the norm, and you do kind of have to raise an eyebrow at a company that's going to require a free copy test, and especially anything that takes any longer than like 20, maybe
15, yeah.
max
It's
30
like,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, maximum. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also had companies ask for that. And since learning my lesson, but I in my world, I just say, here's something similar. And if you're not interested, you're not
Yeah.
interested, and I just move on.
Mhm.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Well, and
absolutely.
because there's plenty of other
Yes.
opportunities.
So much work out
Yes.
there. Yes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So I've actually taken the pitching skills that I learned during the course, and I've done my own personal pitching for clients, and I've actually done pitching for my husband for his clients as well, which is awesome. So just the ability to be able to pitch yourself, your idea, your skills is a huge asset. So we were able to actually move from California to North Carolina, where I live currently, because we were able to pitch skills and be able to get work that was able to help us move over here. So, and we were also not fearful of making the move without jobs because we knew we could get work. So that was
Oh.
also a huge, huge benefit. So in, I think, 2022, September, we moved out to North Carolina, and it's been great.
Isn't that such a good feeling? Like,
Yeah.
oh, like
Yeah, it
I have
really is.
safety, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. And definitely like the skill set that can make you mobile and remote. I learned through this whole process in these last 5 years that a huge core value of mine is freedom. So that's really what I was, and security. Those are two huge core values of mine. So those are two things that this new copywriting career was able to get for me, is the freedom of mobility and moving around, and the freedom of switching jobs without fear, and the security of, I can do it myself, and I can, you know, take care of myself and take care of my family, and it's great. I wouldn't
Mhm.
have been able to do that picking up the phone in California and calling a winery out in North Carolina and saying, "Hey, do you
the
want to hire
wineries in
me?"
North Carolina leave something to be desired.
Yes, true.
I love you, North
But
Carolina, but
yeah, but even like import companies,
true,
Yeah.
true, true, true.
I was like, I have like a skill set in wine, but who's going to hire me if I'm calling from California and I'm saying, yeah, I can be there in like 3, 4 months, and I'm great, I promise. So it was awesome to be able to confidently move without jobs, get here, and then have the freedom to kind of explore. We did that for about a month, and then we settled into a few jobs and bought a house and had a baby, and it was great.
Just all the life events. Tick,
Yeah,
tick, tick,
just
tick.
exactly. It all happened very, very quickly, but it was all good.
That's
I
awesome. Good
love
for
it.
you. Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has your client base expanded? What kinds of projects do you work on? What
Yeah.
kinds of
Take
stuff
it
do you
from
get
the
to
Yeah.
do?
nonprofit
So
into
Yeah.
yeah,
making
so
money.
I have worked for um I've worked for startup companies. I've worked for small startup companies. I've worked for very large, like multi-million dollar funded startup companies. I've worked for a family a dealership, a car dealership. And these are jobs that I've held either as a contractor or as a full-time employee. So I've kind of gone back and forth There's not really one way to do this. And I know that a lot of people out there might be really scared to fully start their own business. And you don't have to do that if you have this skill set. Absolutely. You can do both. You can do neither. You can do some, here or there. So it really is whatever you want to do. So I've worked the car dealership I worked, I drove into work and I was there in the office. And then the startup wine company that I worked for after the car dealership was remote. And that was actually like the end, like the last half or so of my pregnancy. So that was great. I was like, I just want to be at home with my laptop on the couch. And that was really fun because that really blended my two worlds of wine and marketing. So that was a really, really fun. That was a contract that I had for 6 months and then had my second baby. And I was out of work for almost a year. And then I was able to get back into the workforce. Once I made the decision I really wanted to get back in the workforce, I think I was back in 3 weeks. So it was like, it was,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
seamless, really seamless. Yeah, it
That's
was great.
beautiful.
And I found the job on LinkedIn and it was local to my area. And I applied and then I picked up the phone and called.
Good for
And
you.
I said, hi, I want to talk to the director of marketing and I want the job. I want this job. So it was kind of a blend of both. Like, of course, my new skill set helped that, but I've also always been really proactive. So I think, just kind of going after what you want. It was a really good fit. The people that I work with are amazing. It is kind of a blend. I do go into the office most days, but I have a really flexible job where if I need to leave early to pick up my kids, if I need to work evenings, if I need to, I actually went back to California in December and we were there for almost a month. And I worked from there. I think I worked like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 days from California. And I was able to extend the trip because I was able to work remote. So those just kind of, fitting in with the core values, like I mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly. I think some people would hear freedom and security and think, well, you can't have both of those, but you absolutely, I mean, you are living proof,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
absolutely can have both of those and those can coexist within one career, which is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what I was looking for when I found the you guys when I found the writing and this whole new career and it was just like the stars aligned and I just dove in. It was not without its challenges. I am not the best pitcher.
I
I'm
mean,
not the,
it sounds like you're
I
not bad.
I
Just
mean, I'm
gonna
not bad.
say.
I guess I'm not bad. I guess that's a muscle I need to exercise. And I'm really excited to be involved in the pitch podcasts because I think that's like in 2
Mhm.
weeks. I'm
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
really excited for that because
Oh, good.
actually in January of this year, I think I was like doing goals and I was writing stuff down and I did not write it down because I didn't truly think it's what I wanted, but I was scared to write it down because you write it down and then you have to commit. And you're like, "Yes, this is the goal I'm going for." And I had no idea how it was going to happen, but I thought it and I said, I want to be on a podcast. And I thought, I don't, how, where, why, I have no idea.
Well, first of all, check
And
that one off your list.
yeah.
It
And
happened
then
really
like
fast.
done. But yes, what for those of you who are listening, what Avalon is referring to is we're having a specialist come into the group and talk to our CCA students about how to pitch yourself to podcasts. It was actually Christina who was on an episode of the podcast. We'll put the show link. But periodically we have experts come in to teach things to our CCA students. So it's obviously a student-only event. And if you're listening to this now and you're like,
I was
wait,
gonna say
when
it'll
was
be
that?
out. Yeah,
There
it'll
will
be
be
out
a
by the time this
recording.
airs.
Yes.
So look in your special events
for the
section of your
recording.
Yeah,
dashboard. It'll
okay.
be there. Yeah.
Yes. But good. Oh, see, I'm glad we
Yeah,
can make
I
that
like it.
happen
Yeah,
for
hey.
you.
Yeah, I know. I was very excited to see that come into my inbox. I was like, oh, that's really really
universe
amazing,
is
awesome
telling.
timing.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable sharing any of your other goals? You don't have to. We can edit this out if you don't want to, but
Yeah, I think I'm definitely on like a growth path. And I don't know why, because I am an introvert and I had to make myself press send when I was like, yes, I'll be on the podcast. I was like, so
You're killing
I
it.
don't know,
I was
I
gonna say
don't
you're
know
doing a good
why.
job.
Thanks. I don't know why I want to like share my story and tell my story, but there is something that is telling me or kind of nudging me to do that. So I don't know. It's definitely going to be an interesting 2025. I feel like I think it and then it's in like 2 months it's here. So we'll see. I have no idea what 2025 has in store, but I have a feeling it's going to be good things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Go with it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the growth can be, growth can be uncomfortable sometimes, but it's always so good on the other side of it. Like, oh, look
It
at who I
is.
am now.
Yeah, it's always so good. I know we talk about that a lot in the group and like you have to go out of your comfort zone in order for things to happen. You have to manifest it. You have to think about it and you have to want it, but you can't manifest it and then like go sit on the couch and
Yeah,
just wait. Like twiddle your
exactly.
thumbs and be like, "Hey, I thought it and I really really want it." But you have to put it to action and then you really just have to see where that takes you. And that is actually like a lot of what I learned from being in the group. It is something that I've always known and done, but it was really reinforced. I feel like I did it because I had to, like, oh, if I stop, like,
Yeah.
everything's just going to stop. So, but I feel like in a very positive way, it was reinforced by being a part of the group. And I feel like the group, and we're talking now about like the private Facebook group for the students that have taken the course, is really a positive place to be. And it's been really inspirational. I've seen other people that started at the same time that I did be super successful. The two people that come to mind are Adele and Stuart.
Mm.
I was in the group like at the same exact time that they started, and they were inspirational for me personally because they like took off and I was like, yes, this is so great. This is so possible. And now here I am. And I can't believe I honestly can't believe it. I've just been living my life and it's been, yeah, weird. I've just been living my life and doing my thing. And it's been interesting, but
Well,
That's
that's
definitely,
exactly what you said. Yeah, you're not on the
yeah,
couch. You're not waiting on the
yeah,
couch. You're living your
yeah,
life. You're out there.
yeah,
So yeah, good
yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah,
yeah,
doing things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's amazing. That's amazing.
yeah. Thank
Um,
you.
so I guess if you had to, speaking of, looking back, and if you had to give some advice to Avalon from 2020, which I guess would kind of be advice to maybe somebody getting started today, but what would you tell her?
Oh gosh, listen to your gut. Don't be scared. If somebody's listening to this and they're thinking copywriting may be something they want to do, just check in with yourself. Like, this is not, I know that there's a lot of people that are looking for like that quick fix or like, I'll be able to make money if I just do this. Or, yeah, it's not, it has to align with who you are and your values for it to be fulfilling and for it to be worth it. So, it did for me. So I would say to myself, like, don't be scared. Just commit and just prioritize yourself and your learning. Never stop learning because one, it's fun. And two, you'll just keep going places you never imagined you'd go. So I think if there's somebody now here that's listening that is interested in getting into copywriting, like, do you like writing? Like, do you like it? Do you like psychology? Is it something that is interesting to you? So there's just I would say, just like tune into kind of what you want and see if that aligns. And if it does, then take the leap and don't look back. Like I said, I think I bought this for my birthday and it was during 2020 when like no one had like extra money for anything. Like, no, we didn't even have like toilet paper.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
No one had toilet paper.
I know,
as
no one had
recall. Yeah. No one did.
Oh my goodness.
Like, we were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to take this. It was a financial leap. It was a, bet on myself. And I think one of the questions that you said was like, what was there a moment that you like paid yourself back for your investment into the course? And yes, there was. I sent I think it was like a $1,700 invoice. And I was like, oh my God, that was it felt so good. I worked so hard for that moment. And it was amazing. And then it honestly kept getting better from there. So, I think there's a lot of like big numbers that are thrown around that people think will fix things. The big numbers are really, really great. That's definitely, everybody deserves the big numbers. But, there's a lot of positivity and progress that happens in between that time.
Such good. Yeah. Yes to that.
Yeah, exactly. I
Also,
agree.
yeah, like a $1,700 invoice. I get excited when I send those now. Like,
I
right?
know.
Like, heck yeah.
I know.
That's
Like,
amazing.
they feel really good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They're really fun. Really fun.
I know, it's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, that's like probably one of my favorite parts is sending the invoices. I know, like a long time ago, I think it might have been even on one of the podcast episodes that I was listening to. Somebody was like, yeah, it's like sometimes I just forget to send the invoice. And I'm like, no, I don't. I was like, that's my favorite part. Like, I love it. When I hit send, I'm like, yes, moving on.
Well, maybe like second to when the payment comes in, when it's like,
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Because like, yeah, you're never going to want to like have that moment when you're like, excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels so good to be able to even press send.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, Avalon, this was so much fun. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for sharing your story and all of your advice. And we can't wait to see where you go next, where your growth takes you next.
I know, me too. I'm very curious to see
keep us updated.
What happens too.
Yes,
I'll let you know when I know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then you'll be on a second podcast because we'll need a follow up.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Another 5 years down the road.
Exactly.
Probably sooner.
I think the way you operate probably a lot sooner than that. Yeah.
Maybe
Good
sooner.
for you. Good for you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. This was really fun. It was like, I don't know, catching up with girlfriends.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. And so with that, we will catch you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.